time to drop our diff back in. Now it's going to be a little bit tricky. You kind of got to do it one-handed. You've got to let it sit down in there first, and just work the bearing. Like I said, you've got to be gentle with all this stuff. Nothing needs to be forced in. So I'll just give it a bit of a wiggle. There we go. Dropped in. Make sure it sits there, nice and spins nice and freely, and we're sweet. So what we'll do, we'll just go around and we'll just take off all this Honda Bond with a razor blade first. Alright, so we've got that cleaned up. I'm just going to pour the rest of the gear oil just around the LSD, just so it's got the oil in it before I put the rest of it back together, and it's not sitting dry overnight. Okay, so here's our gear set. So you just want to be careful, make sure you line it all up. Just got to line up with your diff as well. You're going to line up all three selectors all at the same time, so it's a little bit of an effort to get it all back in the right sort of spot. You get that gear just to line up a little bit better. Our three selectors, we get them all to line up. So it's just a matter of just a little bit of wiggling, a little bit of pushing, then the thing's going to drop down like it just did then. And then we should be able to make sure that all sits nice and tight. And that's it. Okay, so now we've got it all sitting back in, we can take our tape back off, because we don't need to remove that again. Right, so there we go, everything's just plopped back into place. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab, I'll just move the camera around here. We're going to put our reverse gear back in with the selector. So we're going to sit the reverse gear in. Remember, you've got to have the gears where the point is facing down. So you can just pretty much just sit second gear, reverse gear in like that. I'll just come down the side here. Just going to get it to line up so it sits in the right spot. And then put this mount, we'll just take this two 10mm out of the way. So we'll sit them in like that. So reverse gear will sit up as you put it in, and this is the bolt where you got to line up. So if these need to be 15 Newton meters, and just also because I was just double checking my manual, this little dowel there, like just that little cutout, that's where you need to line up reverse gear, the bolt hole with. Just line it up with that little dowel there. So your reverse gear should spring up and down on the shaft there. So what we'll do now, we pretty much leave all that. What we might do is line all our selectors back up again, so they're all in the same position, the same way as when we pulled it all apart. Otherwise it's going to be hard to put the actual gear selector back in. So just, there we go, just hadn't popped in properly. So make sure all four gates are all lined up nice and straight. So once you've got them all nice and straight like that, you're going to be easy to put your gear selector back in. So now we've got them all sitting in nice, which is cool. Make sure everything's nice and firm in here. So we'll just grab our little windage tray. Now that just sits over the back here, it sits into this slot there. Just make sure it sits below this gear. Once we've got it all cleaned up, I'll just use a little bit of wax and grease remover, and we'll just go around all the mating surface of the gearbox. Make sure we get all the little bits of silicone off. Just give it a good clean, just so we don't have any oil, so it doesn't stop the sealant from sticking. The other housing as well. So we'll just wipe it all down with some wax and grease remover. You can use like brake cleaner or any type of cleaner. Just make sure you get around and clean off any of the oil that may have got onto it. So this is the Honda bond you need to buy. Don't buy anything else. Don't just use normal run-of-the-mill silicon. Buy the proper Honda bond stuff. Like I said, I know it's expensive, but it's going to save you a bunch of issues. Otherwise, you're going to end up with leaks everywhere. So just go to your local Honda dealership. Ask for just Honda bond is all you need to ask for, and that'll get you out of any sort of trouble. So you don't need it to be too small, like something around about that sort of size if we cut it. So we just want like a nice solid bead. You don't want to go over crazy with this stuff. You don't have a lot of time for this stuff once you put it on, so you got to be pretty quick, get it on there, and then get the housing on the back. So we'll throw this on. So we'll just do a nice even bead most of the way around. Get it out of the tube. We just lay it back over the top, same way that we took it off. Now the hard part, you've got a lot of stuff to line up when you put this back on. So we've got to get all the selector shafts all to line up. We've also got to get the diff to line up too. So you can look in through the top here and you can see your top bearing. Make sure that lines up. So once we get that sort of lined up, we'll be able to wiggle it down. Make sure our selector shafts are starting to line up. So it'll take a little bit of moving around to get this all to sit down. There we go. So it's just done its little drop. So everything's dropped in. So what we want to do is just go around. We'll get the rubber mallet. We'll just go around to give it a few taps so we get everything just to drop down. What we have to do, we've just got to get a little screwdriver. Now our circlip, we need to push our circlip back out the way we had it before. Push that right out, and what you need to do, I'll try and do this so you can see it, is we need to get a screwdriver, just lift up that bearing and get it to sit back down over the bearing. Pops up high enough that then that clip will then pop back down and sit back in its correct spot. So now that we've got that done, we can start to throw these bolts back in. So we'll start with the two long ones so we don't get them mixed up. So that's these two here. These are the two long ones. And then we've just got to throw all the other ones in. We've marked our brackets. So we know that the double bracket goes here at the front. Do them all up like that. And our other bracket here, that sits there like that. Just saves you once you get it in the car, everything being in the wrong spot or anything like that. And make sure you get them ones all in, and then we can just throw all our other 12mm bolts back in, the whole lot. And then we're going to torque this all down. I'm just going to whip these all down just so they're firm, not super tight, because we just want it on firm, so it gives time for the sealant to seal without pushing outside the knitting. So just whip them all down until they actually stop. Okay, so now these all need to be done up to 27 Newton meters. So we'll just go around now. I've let this sit. The sealant's pretty much gone off. It's sat for about probably an hour. I had to go inside and do some other jobs. Trying to get kids off to bed. It's now like quarter to 11. They're still awake. So I've come back out here and get this all torqued up. So we'll go around and we'll do all of them. Okay, so same as before, wax and grease remover or brake cleaner or whatever you have. Clean up the surfaces. Make sure you've got most of all the. You don't have to be too meticulous with this stuff because it's going to seal pretty well anyway. So I said wipe your selector part down so it's nice and clean, so it gets a good seal. Then we'll throw some sealant around that end. We can put our selector back in. Now obviously I've used the nozzle and now it's gone off, so I just have to go by hand with this. So once we've got that popped in, we'll do up our 2 10mm. What we'll do too is, because we've put a reasonable amount of silicon in there, is I'll just run a bolt in through here as well. We'll have to do the longer one. Just run your bolt in, because otherwise your silicon is going to make it hard to get your bolt in later on. So what you can do, you can go and grab the bolts from ones that you used in the car and put them back into those 2 holes before you put it back in the car. Like I said, otherwise you'll have a hard time trying to get the 10mm back in once the actual sealant's gone off, because like me, this gearbox probably won't be going back in for another day or 2. So what we'll do, we'll go and grab the other two 10mm. Don't be too concerned about torquing these up, just do them till they're nice and firm. Now these are the other 2 10mm. These are the ones from the car. You can tell they've got a bit of silicone on them. So what I'll do is I'll put these in, but I won't do them up tight. I'll just wind them down just till they're flush. Just the fact they've got to come back out again anyway. It's just like I said, it stops you struggling to be able to get the bolts back in later. So what we'll do is we'll put this drain plug in. We'll chuck the other 2 drain plugs in as well. So we'll put that one in. That's your 17mm there. That one just leave loose because you're going to obviously fill the gearbox up later. Put your drain plug back in, and you can do that one up tight, and do that one up tight as well. Now once we've got the shifter bolt in, we've got to put our other locator back in. So this just needs a bead of Honda Bond on it. Not too much, like you don't have to go overboard with it, sort of thing. And these are kind of things, if it does leak, once you've got it all back together, you can just pull it out and replace it and put some new sealant on it. So we'll stick that one in. Don't be too concerned, like I said, with this one as well, with your torque. Just do it up firm. It doesn't need to be torqued up to death or anything like that on this thing. Up nice and firm. Just wipe off the excess silicone around it. Now also got to throw in our reverse switch, so we'll just clean off that silicone off that as well. Okay, so we'll just put another bead on our reverse sensor. Now it doesn't, like I said, you don't have to put too much on this either. Just one bead all the way around is enough to seal it. Enough. Roll in. You don't want to get it too close to the front face of the actual sensor. You only want it on the sort of like mid threads towards the end. So we'll do that up as well. Now the last job we've got is our detent balls, and the reason I've left them to last, well, also I've got to do our end cap as well on the thing. But the reason I've left them to last is because I want to tilt the box up on a slight angle before I put them in. I don't like to put them in on the side like that and just force them in. So what we'll do is we'll tilt the box up on its side, and a way of doing these so you don't lose the ball or anything like that, or if you're concerned that it's not going to locate properly, is just grab a little dollop of grease. You don't have to put much, just put a little dollop of grease and just drop it inside there, like that. And then when you sit the ball in like that, there's a lot less chance for the ball to, well, if you tilt it that far, but it just kind of like helps locate the ball. So there's nothing worse. You don't want to put these in and crush them or anything like that. So just a little dollop of grease, and over time with heat and stuff like that, the grease will just melt away on this anyway and get absorbed into the gear oil. So we just chuck our little balls in there like that, and that's it. And then what we'll do is we'll tilt the box up onto its side. So when we install them, we're putting them in upright, not trying to put them in on the side. We'll just grab this box and we'll lay it up on its side without trying to knock the camera over as well. Okay, so we've got that up on its side like that. Now what we can do is we just grab our detent balls, and then we've got to crawl underneath like this, and then just sit them in like that, and then just wind them up nice and slowly, so you're not letting that little ball drop back out of its holder there on the spring. Okay, so we'll do that with the other two. Put that one in as well. These don't need any sealant on them, they've already got a little washer on them. Now if you wind it part of the way up and it starts to get tight, that means the little ball's dropped out of its little cup. So we'll just do the last one, which is a bit hard to see, it's up underneath here. Okay, so we've got all three of them in. So this is our 12 mil. Okay, so we torque these to 22 Newton meters. So not overly tight. Now the very last job, that's pretty much our gearbox done, is just to do the top cup. So again, just another slight bead of Honda Bond on the top. Okay, so we do that bolt up, and that's our LSD install pretty much done. Obviously just got to put it back in the car and test drive it and see what it feels like, which I'm going to do another video on. So now that we've done that, we just do that bolt up. Okay, so that's up nice and tight. Now while you've got it all back together now, so what you want to do is just check your gears. So check, make sure you can go first, second, and then forward, first and second, then out, and back and forth, and then all the way out, which is reverse. And so you only shouldn't go one way in reverse, not the other way. So you get all those gears, make sure you've got neutral, so that's your neutral, up and back, forward and back. You're sweet, you're ready to go. So yeah, that wraps up that job. We'll put our lid back on our Honda Bond and save that for another job. So I hope that helps you fit the LSD yourself. It's pretty easy, it's not overly difficult to do. It just takes a little bit of time and patience. You can see the sealant's already gone off and starting to come off the sides there, which is great. Yeah, hopefully it's yeah, saved you a bit of time and money. I would imagine a shop would probably charge about $500 or $600 just to do this part of the job, plus labour to remove the gearbox as well, which I figure if I didn't do the gearbox removal because I figured if you don't have the confidence to probably do this, you probably not got the confidence to pull the gearbox out either. Like I said, it's a job you just got to be very clean, very careful with. Don't rush it. Take your time. Yeah, buy all the right stuff for it. And why'd I pick a Quaife LSD? Well, the reason I picked that was they're a little bit cheaper than like a spoon one. They're not a clutch packed one. These are a gear driven like a helical LSD. So they're a lot less maintenance. You don't need to run any special oil or anything like that in the gearbox for them. And for the type of racing I do, like I'm not thrashing the hell out of the car, so it's not copping massive amount of abuse, my car. So it's just sort of getting like a track day here and there, some competition events, but nothing like 40 lap events or anything like that, which is going to like hammer the LSD in it. So I'm just looking for something to stop wheel spin, which is what I'm getting every time I pull out of a corner. I can't get on the gas early, which with a front wheel drive, especially a Type R, that's where they are quick. You can get through the corner and start accelerating mid-corner, where a rear-wheel drive car still can't be doing that on a tight track. So that's why I went for a Quaife one. I'm going to do another video where I'm actually driving the car, a bit of a feel to see what it feels like. I've got it entered in a competition, which is the White Line Tarmac Rally Series, which is on the 17th of November. So that's going to be its first real good test. That has got a lot of quite tight corners. It's a little bit slippier terrain. It's not like such a great surface like a track has, so it will get a little bit of wheel spin in there, but just the fact it's not wheel spinning that inner wheel every time I'm going around a corner, it's going to pick up like a bunch of time on a track. And if you've watched my previous Luddenham video, I'm going to go out there again, hopefully towards the end of the month maybe, and we'll do a comparison with my times without the LSD and my times now with the LSD too. And also I'm going to take a brand new set of semi-slicks as well with me, which because I've got another set of wheels for the car, and we'll do half the day with the old tyres with the LSD, see how many seconds we pick up. Then we'll throw the semi-slicks on, and then we'll do another session and see how much more time we can pick up just with some semi-slicks too. So anyway, thanks for watching. If this helped you, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The more subscribers I get, the more it inspires me to do videos like this. It's a bit hard to do this with 2 kids. My wife's very understanding, lets me come out here and tinker for a couple of hours and get a job like this done. So now I've just got to do the next job, which is put all the gearbox back in and put everything back together. The brakes have been performing pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with them. When I take it for a drive, I'll do a bit of a review on what the brakes are like. And that's about it. So anyway, thanks heaps for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Cheers. See you. Bye.